If you try to start the engine of your Kia Sportage by pressing the brake pedal and pushing the start-stop button, but instead of the engine cranking, you get a warning on the screen that says press brake pedal to start engine, even though you are pressing the brake pedal. It could mean your brake light switch has failed. This switch is a small but important component mounted above the brake pedal. It sends a signal to the onboard computer when you press the brake. If it fails, your engine will not start and your brake lights will not work. If your brake switch has failed and you need to start the engine in an emergency, there's a workaround that can help you start the engine without pressing the brake pedal. First, press the engine start-stop button once. This will activate accessory mode, which powers up the electronics like the radio and dashboard. Then press and hold the start-stop button for about 5 to 10 seconds. The engine should crank and start normally. This method is useful in emergencies, such as when your brake switch fails and you need to get the vehicle started. However, remember, this is only a temporary solution. You should still replace the faulty brake switch as soon as possible to restore normal safety functions. Before you go ahead and replace the brake light switch, it's a good idea to check the fuse first, because a blown fuse can cause the exact same symptoms. The fuse for brake switch is located in the interior fuse box. Pull open the cover and look at the diagram on the back. Find the fuse labeled as top lamp. It's a 7.5 amp fuse. Carefully pull the fuse out using a fuse puller or a pair of pliers and inspect it closely. If the metal strip inside is broken or burnt, the fuse is blown and needs to be replaced. One more thing, if the fuse is blown, you may also see the warning "Check brake switch fuse" in the instrument cluster display when you try to start the engine. If the fuse is blown, replace it with one of the same amperage reading. Then test your brake lights and start the engine. If the issue is fixed, then you are done. No need to replace the switch. But if the fuse is good and your brake lights still don't work and the start button says press brake pedal to start engine, then the brake switch itself is likely the problem and it's time to replace it. The brake light switch is mounted just above the brake pedal arm, but it's hidden behind this plastic trim piece or crash pad lower panel. While removing this panel makes access easier and gives you more room to work, it's actually possible to replace the brake light switch without taking off the panel. Just get under the dashboard and look above the brake pedal arm. You will see a small plastic switch with an electrical connector on its back. This is the brake light switch that we are going to replace. This is not a traditional mechanical switch with a plunger. Instead, it's a sensor that detects this black pad mounted on top of the brake pedal arm. There is no physical contact between the sensor and the pedal. As the pedal moves, the sensor detects its position based on the proximity of the pad. Because there are no moving parts inside the sensor that can wear out or stick, this design is much more durable and reliable than traditional switches. Before you begin removing the switch, disconnect the electrical connector from the switch. Gently press the release tab on the connector and pull it apart. The switch is secured in place by a locking plate that prevents it from turning or sliding out accidentally. Before you can remove the switch, you will have to release this locking mechanism. Squeeze the locking tabs on the opposite side of the plate, then pull the locking plate straight downward. Once the locking plate is released, grasp the body of the switch and rotate it approximately 45 degrees counterclockwise. You should feel it disengage from the mounting hole. After turning, simply pull the switch straight out of the bracket. It should come out smoothly. If it feels stuck, double check that the locking plate has been fully disengaged. Here is a close-up of the brake light switch. This is the part number. Take your new brake light switch and align it with the mounting hole on the bracket above the brake pedal. Gently insert the switch into the hole, keeping it aligned straight. Once it's fully seated onto the black pad, rotate the switch about 45 degrees in the clockwise direction. This twist motion does two things. It locks the switch into place in the bracket and also creates a clearance of a few millimeters from the pad. Now push the locking plate upward until it clicks into place. This ensures the switch won't rotate or back out due to vibration. Next, reconnect the electrical connector to the brake switch. Push it in firmly until you hear a click, confirming a secure connection. Now press the brake pedal, and if the brake lights are working, it means the brake switch is working properly. Press the brake pedal and hit the start-stop button. If the switch is installed correctly and the fuse is good, the engine should crank and start normally, without showing any warnings. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to Wee's Joint for more DIY car maintenance tutorials. Thanks for watching.